Welcome to the Freedom CEO podcast. It's about becoming the chief decision maker over your life in order to step into a life of freedom. From business, health, wealth, charity, and giving back to just doing life on your own terms. I am your host, Shay Invidiata. I am an award-winning activist, change maker, and a multi-facet impact entrepreneur with over a decade of experience in business, philanthropy, and health and wellness. In this space, I'm going to be bringing you insights, not just from me, but from incredible thought leaders around the globe to help you start making decisions towards living a life of freedom so you can live a life you love. Are you ready, guys? Because we are going all in. Today's episode is double the inspiration and double the impact. Two powerhouse women coming together with a unified mission and purpose. Claudia Mason is a spiritual life coach, CPC, author, stroke spokesperson, and supermodel. Born and raised in New York City, Claudia went on to become one of the world's supermodels, working with designers like Karl Lagerfeld, Versace, Armani, Valentino, Fendi, and Louis Vuitton. And welcoming back on the Freedom CEO podcast is the holistic beauty coach, Amanda Porta. Based in the beauty capital of the world, Beverly Hills, Amanda has been in the beauty industry for 18 years and has trained under some of the best practitioners in the country. Her love of innovation inspired her to introduce the concept of wellness to the plastic surgery industry in 2012. She has advised thousands of women around the world with their health crisis, from celebrities to athletes to prominent business women. My conversation with Claudia and Amanda was so inspiring and uplifting, I didn't want it to end. It was one of these empowerment conversations that make you want to do better because now you know better. Amanda, Claudia, welcome to the Freedom CEO podcast. I'm so happy you guys are here.
Thank you, Shay. It's so nice to be here.
Yes, thank you. Here.
For those of you guys who have been tuning into the podcast for some time now, you might remember that Amanda was on the Freedom CEO podcast during my launch phase. So Amanda is episode number 6. If you haven't listened to that, highly recommend go back and listen to it. Amanda and I dive into her journey in the wellness industry for over 18 years and also her own health journey, which includes removing her breast implants. As you know, I also explanted, and that's where Amanda and I really connected and bonded. And so I'm happy that she's back on the show today, and she has brought the amazing Claudia Mason with her. Let's start. Claudia, you've not been on the show before, so I would love, share with us a little bit about your background. You were a supermodel. Let's kind of start there in your younger years or earlier years, I should say. And then Amanda, I'd love for you to also just reshare a little bit of your background.
Yeah. Thank you, Shay. Wonderful to be here with Amanda on your podcast. I born and raised in New York City. My mom was a real health fanatic coming from health crisis in her own life as a very young woman, and decided to just do a 180 and really change her food, her nutritional habits, her exercise, her mindset. She was always very spiritually inclined, but really dove into all of that because of her own extreme health crisis as a young woman. So when I came along, it was forced upon me, whether I wanted it or not, Shay, and I did not want it at all. What is this health food crap that you're persecuting me with? I mean, we had constant arguments because she did it in a horrible way. Coca-Cola, she would never say Coca-Cola is the devil. She doesn't speak like that, but basically, not have that in my house. It will be thrown away. How dare you? It will kill you. Oh my God. It was this, so while her intention was pure, she wanted me to be healthy. She never wanted me to go through what she had gone through health-wise. She believed that nutrition was key to that. And so she just was so aggressive with it. I'm very grateful. So as I grew up, I had this great foundation of how to eat well. She was ahead of her time in that way. And when the modeling industry found me, I was discovered by the top agency at that time, Elite, and shot to the top. I had a very blessed career in the entertainment industry. but I was able to, even though I ignored her, obviously, like any healthy, rebellious teenager, ignored her sage advice and ate crap and did, dabbled in some drugs and smoked for too long. I was able to go, oh, wait a second. I think I'm going to use some of those habits mom taught me, because I think that's a better way to drop weight. Oh God, these cigarettes are killing my chest hurts. Maybe that's not great for wrinkles that will start to form. All the stuff she had said that I couldn't stand really served me well as a young model, and certainly getting older as a model. But the fashion industry is one of the arms of the entertainment industry, as we know. And you have to. My book, Finding the Supermodel in You, that was published a few years ago, is really about what I learned about how to avoid how to swim in the shark-infested waters of the entertainment industry and not lose yourself. And that had a lot to do with grounding at home with my mom. Was just excellent. As wild and off as she was in other ways, she was wonderful with that. And so I was able to stay grounded to a certain extent in the entertainment industry because of this. I know I'm kind of giving you too much for one simple question, but the great health habits and beauty habits naturally that my mom had instilled in me really served me well when I had a big career as a model in the 90s.
Yeah.
100%.
I'm laughing right now because my mom, same Claudia, it was like, no cereal in the house. So, as an adult, when I got on my own, oh my gosh, who doesn't like a bowl of Frosted Flakes? Right? Like that was my rebellion. Like, I'm going to eat all of the cereal, the box cereal possible. And if my mom had said one more time to my brother and I, have you had your vitamins today? Like, I can still hear it. Like, Mom, stop saying that. But yet we go back to it because they were right. And that was the foundation. My mom made beautiful 5-course Italian meals every night that were just beautiful. And, it's important when you have, right, that foundation that I know a lot of people aren't as lucky to have.
Yes.
That's the difference.
It's everything. And, it's interesting that you're speaking about the foundation, because this is actually the catalyst for what we're going to dive into in a few minutes around our health, around our beauty. And I think it's so fascinating that you had such a strong foundation, and you went into these shark infested waters where it's almost the complete opposite, right? In so many different ways. So having that, you have a very unique experience having been in that industry. So it all works. I'm glad you shared. My mom also, of course, she listens to every podcast, so she'll be tuning in and listening and going, Coke and pop were not allowed in our house either. And very similar to Amanda, grew up with, still do 5-course meals, everything fresh. So it's really nice to sit hear your story, that this is like where it begins, from your mom within that household. So
yes. And I'll just say, Shay, that we had 2-course meals. That was enough for us. I love that you guys have 5-course. Mwah. My mother created delicious meals that were so healthy, but delicious. And it's just like, wow, salad was always first. I mean, I could not get to the pasta, to the chicken, to the whatever second course if I didn't have my salad. That was just a given.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
Always.
Your mom's a smart woman. Well, thank you for sharing some of that. We're going to come back. Amanda, who are you? What's your journey and your background? Share with us a little.
Well, like we said, similar to Claudia, I had the influence of my mother and my stepfather, who really instilled in me, and they're my best friends today, really just the great foundation. I have to say, though, me being a little bit rebellious, as we can see from my Instagram account, I definitely strayed off on my own path. And part of that was getting breast implants and joining in plastic surgery, only just because of the desire of wanting to help other women. I got breast implants because I had a chest deformity. So my breasts did not develop as they normally would. It's capsular contracture, and it's a constricted chest wall. It was always very tight. And so by getting these breast implants, it expanded the tissue, giving me normal breasts, but ultimately making me sick. And so when I discovered it after 7.5 years and wanted to just help other women, because I just felt like I needed to do that just for my soul, being a patient care coordinator, I was so shocked that this was a thing, that there are so many women who are impacted by their breast implants. And it really got me on a journey to come back to myself in so many ways, and to really start doing the deep healing that I hadn't done early on in life, and starting on a path of just non-toxic living. I changed the way that I ate, the products that I was using. And I thought, I really want to encourage other women with holistic beauty. I actually, even though I still had the implants and I was still working in the industry, still even getting Botox, I had gotten into holistic facials back in the early 2000s, because I realized that the products I was using in the medical industry, they were way too abrasive and harsh. Like, I looked older using those, just from the inflammatory inflammation that they presented. And then, with the breast implants, that also is a lot of inflammation. So I thought, well, if I'm in Beverly Hills anyway, and this is the beauty capital of the world, why aren't we embracing holistic beauty as we do kind of this, beauty that now a lot of people seem to be doing. And it's working. And, talking about gua sha facials and buckle facials and using oils on your skin, people are really catching on. And I know for a lot of them, my account was the first kind of introduction to this. I'm obsessed with the lymphatic system. I've created a new website, Lymph Lounge, to teach people how to keep their lymphatic systems healthy themselves, because you can't go run out and get a lymph massage every day. But, a stagnant lymphatic system, I say it all the time, is what expedites the aging process. So by keeping it healthy, not only is it great for your health, but your beauty as well.
Totally. So, and I love the Lymph Lounge. I can't wait to go on there and do that, because as an explanter, that is so important that we are doing that. So I can't wait to go on and check it out and get some tips. Amanda, I want to ask you, you say in your journey that explanting was, because we all kind of have like this pivotal moment. And Claudia, I'm going to come and ask you this as well, right? Like, we all have this like moment where we look back and you're like, that's what changed everything moving forward. Was explanting for you that part of that moment?
Yeah, I have to say it was, because I finally had to slow down. And I think that's what, in this kind of 3D world, we're so used to being busy. They want you to be busy. So you don't have time to think. You don't have time to do the tough work. And I knew it. I kept saying to myself, oh, I'll get to that. I'll get to the healing once I have a break, once I do this. I never even took a 2-week vacation, I don't think, during my whole career, because we're just on this hamster wheel constantly. So going through my chronic illness journey, the gaslighting involved, believing in myself after that. I knew something was really wrong. And yet I had all of these people surrounding me, even some friends, trying to convince me that, oh, you're just getting older. There's nothing wrong with you. When you don't feel well, things aren't right.
Totally.
So I feel like, and I think other women who have been through it will say the same thing. Explanting or chronic illness, let's just say in general, actually any, I think, major life event, it can be divorce, the death of somebody close to you, that is an opportunity to heal, not only on a physical level, but an emotional and spiritual level as well. And I mean, I'm still healing, and I'm still trying to do better breath work. Like, for me, that's been a little challenging right now. I've been working on that, or meditation, whatever it may be. So yeah, I would say that explanting and my chronic illness journey was really what kind of sparked my healing journey.
Yeah. I mean, I could see that, Claudia, ask you, supermodel, world supermodel, not just modeling, right? You know, for some of the biggest names in the world, from Versace, Carla, Armani, many different campaigns for like Fendi, Louis Vuitton. In this world, that is a very coveted career path for a lot of young women. And in getting to know you, you now have spiritual life coach in your title. There's a moment there for you to be where you are now, coming from the world of modeling. What was the moment for you, and how did things shift? How did things pivot for you?
Yeah. How did they shift? I think I missed the last thing, but how did they shift for me?
Yeah.
You know, when I was a little girl, I was always interested in God, and I wouldn't have necessarily said God, because I wasn't raised in a religious household. Mother was very spiritual, as I've said, ahead of her time. But she didn't really nurture that in me. It wasn't really coming up. There was other life hardships and stuff that come up in growing up, certainly with a single mother. But I was always interested in the divine, that I would call it now the divine as an adult, but I wouldn't know what to call it as a child. And that was what took me through hard times, was going inside, again, these terms that we all know now, but I couldn't understand it then. So being discovered and shooting to the top of one of the entertainment industries was absolutely incredible. It's something that, you know, I didn't necessarily wish for. I wanted to be a dancer or an actress, but modeling, it wasn't on the radar, not like kids today, because the world has changed. And that arm of the entertainment industry has grown so much, the fashion industry and modeling. But so it was amazing to be whisked into that. Thank God my mom and my dad kept me grounded, how to finish high school, get into great colleges. Then you can do modeling full time. So we kind of pushed them off for 4 years of high school, and it still was there at 18, which is amazing. And I was very blessed with this career. And as much as I enjoyed it, Shay, there was that part of me that needed something more. It was that person, as a young person, who craved more the questions of life. Who are we? What is this? You know, going inside to heal oneself and feel better, rather than getting it from drugs, sex, alcohol, other people, you know, shopping. That's never the answer. It's inside. But I didn't want to be a minister or a rabbi. So it was like, what am I going to do with this? And basically, the highs of the entertainment industry, very blessed career, a lot of doors opening, but kind of not wanting to stay in that fully. And what else am I going to do? And then I had a health crisis myself, which was that of a stroke from an accident in a dance class. I had this crazy situation, a left vertebral arterial dissection that led to an ischemic stroke that affected the occipital lobe region, which controls our vision. My vision was taken away for under an hour. And then it comes back, but there's still this partial visual field deficit I still have today, looking at both of you. But no one can see that looking at me. So I was able, out of the hospital after that, to go on and got a modeling gig, an acting gig. I was still acting then, but something kept nudging me. This is not what I want you to do anymore. The inner voice was saying, you did the modeling, acting, let's move on. I need you to do something else. And I remember speaking to that voice in the hospital, like, well, what the hell? Because all I ever saw myself was as a performer, because that's what I loved too, is from a child. It wasn't just a spiritual life, it was performing. Yeah. But then anyway, so Shay, it was the stroke. And then I wrote a book, because I still couldn't address the stroke in public, and I didn't know how to do it. No one can tell looking at me. And so I thought I'd just ignore it and go on. That wasn't really working. Great that I'm a published author talking about how finding the supermodel in you, which is all inner life, but for the target audience of would-be model and their parents. But that started I'm a coach. I've always coached young would-be entertainers. I've been a natural coach. Any coach will tell you, Amanda will too. You're a natural coach, and then you suddenly find your way to it, I think, in a certain way. So for me, it was I'm not just going to give makeup tips in my book, which are great, of value makeup tips, but it's the inner life is key. How to gird yourself from the inside so you can pivot, up level, reframe, and thrive. My God, no matter who you are, what you look like, height, age, gender. And So I started speaking, from the book and all of that. And as a stroke survivor, and the medical community in America, doctors are like, oh my God, you hear about the supermodel who had the stroke? How crazy. We got to get her to talk. I'm going to do a talk in Atlanta at the end of the year about surviving a stroke and from the patient's perspective. So I realized it's all the inner life saved me, not just the drugs in the hospital, the inner life. I didn't crumble under the depression and PTSD that naturally comes from health crises. I had a hard time, but then how do you get back up? We all know it's the inner life. So I got certified over the pandemic as a life coach. I wanted to go a certain certification route. And I knew the emphasis was on the spiritual. I survived a stroke. I didn't die. My sight wasn't permanently taken away. If that is not enough to be thankful and have a huge change, I don't know what is. Because you guys, I could vomit now if I ever go down the thought process of, I can't even say the B word when you don't have sight. I can't say it because I experienced that. And so that was like, okay, God's saying, okay, you did that. Now I need you for something else. Let's go, kid. Wake up.
Amen.
Wow. What a journey. What a journey. And, similar but different, and Amanda, I'm sure you can relate as well. The day before I went into surgery, there's all kinds of emotions happening, all kinds. Good, hard, happiness, scared, I'm going to change all of this stuff. But for me, there was a huge moment of sitting with myself and thanking my body for continuing to fight for me, to being resilient for me, right? And fighting even when I didn't even know she was fighting. And I hear your story and I think about that on the flip side, right? You have this stroke and now your body is becoming resilient on the healing, on the fighting for you through this. What did you experience in that feeling, that resilience that your body was going through to bring you back to where you are right now?
What did I feel by experiencing the resiliency of my body?
Yeah.
Is what your question is.
The resilience of your body to not give up, not quit, not, to continue to fight and heal. Because this is part of it, right?
Yes.
The healing journey of it.
Yes. Unbelievable awe. Oh my God. Thank you for tying it to all of us. Oh my God, what our bodies can go through. And they just want to keep serving us and being well and get healthy. That's how it's created, right? To self-heal our body if we allow it to, as we all know. So I'm still on that journey because the brain is the slowest organ to heal. And I still do have the partial visual field deficit. It shrinks, but so minusculely, nominally. So, gosh, I'm sorry, Shay, your question. So what did I experience with, the powers, the incredible power of our body. And also then, the decision to our minds, which is part of our body, of course. Am I going to get up and get going? How to get up. That's what I speak about, how to get up to bat again and again and again in life. Life knocks everyone down. You've got to get up. It's within you. You can't change anyone but yourself. All of this, these from the great consciousness movements and spiritual truths and tools. So I'm going to pause because I've just lost a little bit my focus. So I don't want to just ramble, but yeah, it's incredible. Amanda, please.
Yeah, no, and I'd like to say that too. And I think that this is true for a lot of women who have been through my particular journey. I think, and too, just falling in love with holistic medicine along my path. I have to say the body's ability to heal, unless you've been through something like this, I don't think people really understand it. And a lot of people speaking out today, I find, have gone through a similar crises. Maybe they've had cancer and healed from it, etc. But the fact that my body, that's what astounded me, could heal from like 40, almost 40 different symptoms, everything kind of going haywire, if you will. And now I take blood tests today. I'm 49 years old. They're like, you are so healthy. Everything, all your blood work is like perfect. They almost look at me astounded. Your thyroid, which was a mess, by the way, because of my breast implants. And I didn't even do like anything magic to heal. It wasn't like I did. Everyone's like, okay, well, so what was the special detox? What are the special supplements you took? No, I actually did things really naturally because my gut was impaired from the breast implants. So taking a bunch of supplements was not the answer. I wanted to see what my body would do just on its own by removing the root cause. And so, we put our bodies through so much, and it is just, again, like Claudia said, a testament to your body can really endure much more than we think. So now I'm just using, my healing to give back. I need to kind of like refill.
It's well, I was saying, oh yeah.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Well, just the whole idea of also, because I remember out of the hospital, I could not bear, it was also PTSD, but I could not even imagine doing any more healing than what I had gotten in the hospital. It was allopathic medicine. Thank God for it in this way. No, I didn't have to have surgery, but they had to give me a lot of drugs and they had to monitor me for a week. Then when they gave me imaging again 3 months later, the MRI and CAT scan to see the genesis of the stroke, which was this left vertebral arterial dissection, it had healed 3 months later. Well, my neurologist was thrilled. She said, we've done our job. That's all we can hope for. That healed. I feel you're going to be fine, but we're not God. And that good for her for saying that. We don't know, but good luck. Right. Because I've had women die, men, I guess, too, but she happened to say women die or not get their sight back from exactly what I went through. So it's pretty miraculous, she said. However, their job was done. So you go, okay, they did what they had to, that healed, I'm released from the hospital. Well, now what do I do? I said to her, but I still have this spot missing. How the hell does this? She said that we don't know, but I think because you're healthy, you'll be okay. So then it's like Amanda was saying, okay, I had to take a breath and let my body, everything just relax and stop. I didn't know what it meant, although I was raised holistically with all the integrative, naturopathic, who do I go to? What do I start doing? And the PTSD of it, I couldn't even imagine. I had to let my body breathe and just guide me. And a lot of years have passed since that. And I'm kind of just now, it's a dozen years ago this happened. I'm finally kind of addressing it with alternative, homeopathic, holistic, naturopathic, functional, all the opposite to allopathic. Right. But I mean, I can't be upset at myself either for waiting all these years because my body needed to just stop and do its own kind of healing. Maybe I don't quite see it in the partial visual field deficit. It doesn't seem like it's getting better, but my body is realigning itself. It's doing what it has to do up there to wake those cells up, it's magnificent. And then resilience, like Amanda was saying, you develop this resilience and then you want to help others. Oh my God, it's our outlook and how we pivot our perception. Because if I just stayed in the depressed state in the hospital, I don't really think I'd go along the path of getting certified and wanting to now be a life coach because I wouldn't want to live for anything. I mean, we all know this can make people want to end their life. Thank God none of us here, or I could just speak for myself, but I feel confident Amanda too. We didn't go through that suicidal stuff. I mean, you get close to but I never thought of that. But the spirit,
I was very depressed. I will say that. And I think even more so than I could even admit to myself at the time. I never would use the words like I'm scared. But now looking back, because again, I think that the implants, they block your heart chakra. I just was so not able to emote or to even say how I felt. I can say that now. I'm like, that was so scary. It's not like it was just like you're sick for a few months either. This was 7.5 years of, rubbing my chest and thinking, oh my God, this has to be undiagnosed lung cancer or something that they just haven't figured out yet. But now I can look back and say that. And, but I also wanted to say, listening to your body and allowing it to rest. Because Claudia, yesterday, for instance, was Labor Day. And we just laid around and we didn't do anything. And I kept looking at bow, and I was like, I feel kind of guilty, like we should get up and go do something, but I'm like, no, I'm gonna just allow myself to lay in bed today because I'm never doing. And Claudia, look at your life of that lifestyle of traveling on airplanes and all of that, all those years you did that. That takes a lot out of you, and you don't realize it, I don't think, at the time.
You're absolutely right. The good thing, as we all know, and as they say, which is true, when you do it when you're 19, you can recuperate a little more. I mean, I can't even imagine doing that now.
No.
But still, it takes a toll, absolutely. And again, the spiritual life was always what bounced me back, whether it was Al-Anon, the brilliant 12-step program that saved me at one point, or my Jungian psychotherapist, or whatever, or the spiritual tools for mom and the ones that I gained. That was what kept me going. But yes, to take off, as you said, with Labor Day and let the body just stop. Oh my God, we have to. And we don't do this, all of us women here, our society.
Right. So much pressure on ourselves, right? I know. Like all day we're like, we feel so guilty. And I'm like, wait, why do we feel guilty? It's a vacation. It's a take off. That's what we're supposed to do.
And that's part of the healing. You need to stop. You need to slow down in order to rejuvenate, recuperate, refresh, reset. You cannot always be in the go drive, especially like women who are on a mission. It's like pedal to the metal most of the time. So it's that is part of it, is completely unplugging, relaxing, reset is so important.
Yes.
Yeah. No. Go ahead, Claudia.
Jump in, Shay. You have two talkers here, and this is such a great subject. I was just going to say something that Amanda and I also agree with. I mean, when you just said reset, it made me think also in the need that why we have to stop. We're inundated with 5G and the negatives at EMF all the time. I'm wearing this thanks to Amanda. No, it's not a smartwatch. It is EMF Solutions. It has what
I love it.
Crystal or something. They made it look like a smartwatch, so you're not looked at as a kooky person, but it's not a smartwatch. And it has, I don't know if it's shungite or shalit or something in here that helps the body. I also wear my Harmony pendant to protect from EMF. This is great. I mean, this is a huge topic too that we want to speak to the kids about also, not just not going under the knife and be careful with pharmaceuticals all the time as the only way to do everything. But because that ages you. I mean, that's a whole other conversation. We all could be here for 5 hours. People who are always on medications are aging. My mother was the first one to tell me, you see certain skin that's been on medications, no judgment, but it's not good for the body, overuse of pharma. And so also then the 5G and how, oh my gosh, there is so much. And we have to help inform the younger people, just like we were informed by older people. I feel that it's exciting when I think about it that way.
I love it that more people are speaking out about the 5G, because let me tell you, 4 years ago on my platform, when I started talking about it, of course, I'm a kooky conspiracy theorist. And now they call me, and I call myself a way shower. Things happen to me a good 4 to 5 years, sometimes 10, before others. And I've always taken it upon myself to use it as an opportunity to speak about it, to help others through it since I've been through it. I've had a lot of health conditions from the EMF in the last year or two. Spending so much time on my cell phone and on the computer helping patients. And now I try to take huge breaks during the day of several hours. I will not even be near a phone or a computer. I have to. I mean, I was getting headaches, losing hair from it. You'll see balding patterns in people in the front of their hairline because their phones are always pointed at them.
So interesting. I've
tumors in women's breasts, down in men's prostates because they carry the cell phone down there. I mean, it's not a coincidence if we start thinking about these things.
Amanda, the sperm count is down. I mean, that's not even anymore because of the pocket.
Yeah. 100%.
I'm always talking about, with women, they take their phone and we put it in that yoga pocket, and that's actually where I have one of my EMF. I've got the, because we're always holding it, carrying it. It's in your back pocket. It's on your thigh, and we're not thinking about it. And so that education kind of making people aware of even where you sleep, we don't do this, but the majority of people go to bed with this phone where? Right
next to
here,
their
beside.
head. Oh my gosh. I mean, I did the same thing. So I'm not saying anything, but our vision too, it closes down our blood vessels. And so if you're having vision issues, that's why I'm hoping the Lymph Lounge will teach people more. You can do exercises back behind your ears to open things up behind your ears for your eyes.
Yep.
You might not need glasses. I didn't start needing glasses until they started, really turning up the radiation.
Whenever Amanda talks about this, I immediately start doing it because I'm like, oh my God, I have to start doing it. And then I start laughing, which helps me just kind of like relax. Oh, there's so much.
Keep it flowing, girl.
I love it. Okay, so like let's shift into a bigger conversation around what you guys are doing now, because all three of us come from a health pivotal moment that has changed where we're sitting today. And I often say you always have two decisions in every circumstance, to either become bitter or to become better, right? Claudia, you shared a very scary, traumatic, uncertain health experience, and you had a choice. And does that mean that you were joyful and happy the entire time and always? Absolutely not. But you had to make a decision that you were either going to let this become the woe is me and the victim, or become better, which for you is that thriver word, right? More than even being a survivor, but like thriving past that. And language is so, so powerful. I want to come back to that as well. The word thriver for you. And Amanda, you just shared that it was hard for you in the beginning and that you were depressed. And again, you could have easily have gone into the bitter route versus the better route. And I think you both, anybody listening right now can hear, you guys are powerhouse women. You have this passion that's just overflowing, where you're wanting to give, educate, and share with other women, people, both coming from decades in the beauty and health industry. And both of you know better than myself the effect of what is happening in our industry today with social media, AI, and I think we need to go there. So before really diving in, I'd love to share, what are you two doing together? Because the podcast today is not just about Claudia's story and Amanda's story, but you guys are coming together. So what are you doing?
Amanda, can I just jump in?
Yes, go for it.
I mean, it all is, when you wake up and you have purpose and you have a project that you're excited about, it's so much easier to go on with your day, as we all know. And God bless people who don't have purpose and passion, and then it's a harder slog through the day, and may they find it. But, part of the reason I get so excited about the projects I get to do with Amanda is because I'm so passionate about it, as she is. So when we first spoke, we both were on this, we had this need to help inform about natural holistic beauty and to keep beautiful and healthy without all the harmful techniques that are so well marketed out there because of the money, the big business. But to really help people thrive, and yes, I am connected to that word. I'd like to say stroke thriver instead of survivor, because survivor sometimes has a little, I don't know if it's victim-y, but it's too heavy. It brings me down. I stroke thriver. I'm thriving. I had that, and I'm thriving. Whatever we go through, we can thrive. It's choice, as you said, better or bitter. That's so wonderful. So I just think of the excitement of the purpose of our message to help young people, women, of course. I mean, as a spiritual life coach, I'm mostly dealing with women, but because I've dealt with so many kids in my life as a supermodel and in the entertainment industry, and the kids would flock to me, I'm thinking, what can I really tell them now? Well, just wait. I mean, the AI, the potential harmful effects of AI on young girls and boys, but young girls' view of themselves and how they should be and feel and think and look. And oh my goodness, they need to hear from older people that there's another way. We know AI is here. I don't know what we're all going to do about it. No one has the answer. It has to be regulated. But I'm not saying that I want to go out with Amanda and tell everyone to get off AI and have nothing to do with it. That would be ridiculous of me. You have to you have to dance with the tiger, or whatever that great expression is. You have to learn to swim with sharks. You have to figure out, but not get eaten, and not kill them. But then how do we live together?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
I think it's, part of it too is like the education side as to why. Like right now, trending is the Barbie TikTok filter, the Instagram filter, right? That's going around, and you'll never see me partaking in that. Not even for my own stuff that I don't post. I won't partake in that, because for my own sanity, I don't need to see my non-reality and then striving or hoping or going down a funky spiral that I don't look an artificial way. And so just as much as saying, you won't see me trending on my platform with any of the AI. And I think it's the importance of really explaining to young people why that's unhealthy, and really the psychological effects that it has. Yeah. You and I, we all know, like when mom says, don't touch the stove or don't eat the cookie before dinner, most kids do what? They touch the hot stove and they eat the cookie before dinner. But if you take the time to educate and empower anybody, you empower people with choice, with the decision, and they understand the weight behind, you go left or you go right, and here's what the outcome is going to be in either scenario. Oftentimes, you're going to help to course correct, but you empower that person because they feel like they made that decision, yeah. Right? Yeah. So that's why I also love that you guys are not just speaking to women, but you are speaking to these younger generation, our younger females that are really challenged with this on the day in and day out. And as opposed to a parent just saying, that's silly, that's stupid, it's not realistic, you shouldn't do that. It's like, tell them why, and have them have choices in front of them.
Yeah.
Right.
No, it's interesting. I've just always marched to the beat of my own drummer. So I was a late adapter to social media. I'm not saying I've never taken a selfie, but I haven't taken many. I don't feel comfortable. I don't like it. I don't even think it looks good. Don't love the filters. Again, not saying I've never used a filter. I'm just saying very minimal. And I mean, I think you can tell by looking at my Instagram. I have an iPhone 7 still, so it's not like that thing takes great photos anyway. So I just, for me, I don't care for that look, just because, I mean, it's not real. I was looking at a certain well-known person's Instagram the other day because they posted a picture and I never looked at their Instagram before. And I was kind of shocked. They already have quite a bit of plastic surgery, and that's fine. Every single photo was so over the top. It wasn't real anymore. I was like, this looks almost like a painting or something. Right. But yet it made me sad for her, because she actually is a very funny gal and a beautiful gal. And she works out a lot. She's got very cute kids. I'm like, why do you feel the need to have to post these? Everybody can tell that it can't look like you really do in person. But it's like we've lost total sight of what real even looks like anymore. Yes. And my followers, you can't get anything past them. I'm telling you, they will call me out. Yeah, even if I posted with a friend who's got dermal fillers still or something, I mean, they'll call me out and I appreciate that. But they'll say, they're like, thank you for not filtering all of your pictures. We appreciate seeing real again, and the only time I've ever even had major editing is if a photographer did it for photos, and I would even call them out. That was years ago. I'd be like, no, redo them. I do not like how heavy you edited these. It doesn't look good.
Well, I think women like you both, especially, Claudia, coming from the modeling industry, even me today. Okay. I'll tell you truthfully, was like, I got your beautiful photo, right? And I'm like, I know I'm coming on with like a model. I've been on with Amanda before. So like, I know, and Amanda, you're beautiful as well. Don't get me wrong. But I had my own, like, oh my God, okay, like my hair is still from my workout this morning. Okay. So I'm like, oh my God, like I'm coming out with a model and like, how am I going to show up and how am I going to look? And I took a moment, I looked at myself in the mirror and I was like, you're going to look just like this and you're fine just like this, more than fine. I'm
Absolutely.
great just like this. And I'm going to show up because this is the human I am. This is me.
Yeah.
And so I think both of your backgrounds, right, and the history that you come from, you really give permission to girls and to women and even men, right? Like even men to be human. And like, as you are enough. And as you are incredible. Talk about your book, and we can unpack that more too. I'd love to hear more about that. That is really about finding the supermodel in you. I'm sure you go into that because it's the inner side, inner work. It's who we are on the inside that matters most. And that's so cliche sounding because we all grew up with fantastic mothers from the sounds of it. So we've heard that many times. But it's more about the spiritual component, the breath work we do, the meditation and the calming of the mind and the strengthening of the mind, how we move our bodies that start to transform the inside. And that's where, I'll be honest, the tools that I have in my life, I looked at myself in the mirror and I'm like, she's not out of it. Like, cool, she's a supermodel. I'm my own little supermodel in a different way, And I'm like, I don't need to, I came on here, for those of you guys listening, I'm just wearing a workout zip up long sleeve. Like I still have my gym shoes on. And I thought about changing. I was like, no, I'm not going to change. I'm showing up because this is how I am today. And I don't need to dress up for our episode,
It's so funny because, when I started doing podcasts, it was during quarantine, but I said to myself, you know what? I'm going to show up exactly how I show up in my daily life. And I would wear hoodies, which I wear all the time, and beanies. And so probably some of my early podcasts, they're like, who is this girl? I don't care. Jeans and t-shirt, that's what I do. I don't wear makeup. And that's just how you're going to see me. So I love that. And I applaud that.
Applaud that completely, Shay. And I hear everything you're saying. And I want to tell the audience, in case there's no video on this, that I have been futzing. These two women have had to look at me, or maybe they're not, futzing with my hair the entire time. So this is an interesting thing. I mean, we are still allowed, and I'm really doing this honestly because I have a whole hair moment today. We're still allowed as females or males to not like how our hair or makeup is and want to adjust it. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't think any of us are saying that. But it's understanding that there's a difference between that, oh God, not taking that so seriously, but wanting to be seen in camera in a certain way, nothing wrong with that, putting it in its place, but not going, I have to have now hair implants because I don't like how it's falling. I mean, if you have bald spots, then that's a different conversation. What are the options? As you were saying, Shay, what you felt from both of us are helping, especially young women, understand to get clear on when you start to do the easy way. The easy way is very often a way that will not be easy because you're going to keep fixing elective, pharma first before anything else. I'm not anti-pharma, but I'm anti going to that first because I wasn't raised that way with good reason, because my mother explained to me, you get this from plants, you get this from supplements, you get this from minerals, you get this from eating well. Now you want to go and have McDonald's? Knock yourself out. But at least you're given, you're educated, you're informed properly, and then people can do what they're going to do. So there's a difference between we want to look good, and we do as women or men what we want to before we get on camera, to now I have to, oh my God, I have to get, I don't know what, a cheek implant because that camera angle. Well, maybe switch the camera, maybe have a time to set yourself up a little more, which I didn't give myself today, and that's on me. But not a big deal in the scheme of things. And I love what you were saying. Just show up because we're all just who we are. And whatever background we've had and job, we're all just human, and when we're wanting to be our best and help others, as we all know, I mean, I'm preaching to the choir, we're going to feel our authenticity, so that I'm not thinking that you're in a, whatever you just said about your top, last thing I would ever notice. But I understand we all understand what you're saying too, because what have I been doing the whole time? Oh, I like that. I finally found, I'm going to say very still. Okay. Sorry, my hair, I finally found. This is so ridiculous. Look what we're talking about, the important things. And I've been talking about my hair too. So I hope that it comes across that I'm very clear that that's not important in the grand scheme, except I like to look a certain way on camera. And if I can do it in a healthy way that's non-toxic and harmful, that's okay.
Well, it's the instant gratification, and so that's what I'm saying. So with the injectables, it's very easy to just inject. Or would you want to invest, like that's what I'm trying to show women and men, with like a buccal facial, where, hey, after a while, marionette lines and so forth, you're not going to see those, and you're not going to need to use a dermal filler to correct it. Now, might it take having them on a regular basis for a while, a little bit more of an investment, not say even financially, just in your time? Perhaps. But I just feel like for me, it works better than freezing. But by exercising your facial muscles, just like you would muscles like when you go to the gym in your body, we don't want to freeze them, right? We want to work them out.
Yes, thank you. Totally. And as we know, Shay and Amanda and I were talking about before, you used to do too much elective and putting fillers in that can be harmful and full of toxins. You're then on a never-ending road of continuing that to keep it up, because it's actually aging you. I think people have a hard time hearing that. And
I noticed that when I started seeing all of these beautiful actresses doing a lot of filler. Their faces looked very inflamed to me, which maybe you can't see it if it's on yourself. And I was like, what? And the lymphatic system, they don't realize how it congests your lymphatic system again. And a stagnated lymphatic system, whether it's from breast implants, dermal fillers, that is going to expedite the aging process, as does inflammation, as we know. So that's why so many women, when they take their implants out, they look younger. Makes sense.
Yes. Yeah. And you see it like right away in their eyes, right? Like eyes clear up, they're whiter. Mm-hmm. I shared with you guys offline, and anybody tuning in, you may have heard me say this before. Like, I started doing Botox when I was 25 years old. I have a very strong line in between my eyebrows. And so I'm very expressive. Italian. I use my hands a lot. I talk a lot. My eyebrows go up and down. So I used it from a preventative side, right? Of, okay, let me do it now. Well, I am 38 now. I turned 39 in December. And I haven't put anything into I'm actually like one full year of like no fillers, no Botox. My implants have been 1.5 years out. And it's hard. It's not easy to look at myself in the mirror and be like, wow, I can so do Nona's laundry on my forehead. For those of you guys that know the old school, you would rub it out with all those bumps. That's like on my, that's how it looks for me right now. But I understand that the exchange of the neurotoxins and the carcinogens and then all different types of chemicals and the effect that it has on my body, for me, especially right now, I'm like, it's not worth it. And finding other solutions like doing face yoga, like some of these more natural like facials that can help to stimulate the collagen and the muscles and, bringing that plumpness, or the firmness back into your skin. But we are completely not challenged. We've been conditioned is the right word. We're conditioned that we want gratification. So I'm like, I need to wait like 4 months to have these lines like possibly weaken, not necessarily go away, but weaken, versus being able to go and get, 30, 40 minutes in a chair. And in 24 hours, I'm going to be back to like, so to speak, right? What is perfect, but so other things. So
I posted in my stories today, one of the holistic estheticians that I follow using cupping to rid the 11. Yes. Because when I woke up and thought about Botox going straight into our pineal gland, I freaked out. Why would I ever have done this? Oh my goodness. But yeah, facial cupping, she shows the series of photos. It looks amazing. And it works.
And they're what? They're like the mini cupping, like what you would do for a massage. They're smaller ones.
Yeah, you can do it yourself, or you can go to an esthetician and have it done. And there are more and more of these studios opening up. I actually would love to open my own. Just trying to figure out where.
I love that.
Yeah. And I just want to add on to what you guys are saying, because this is such a huge topic. So it's also the food we're eating, the thoughts we're having. And when I work with clients as a spiritual life coach, when we can, the meditation, the daily sadhana, you want to have a spiritual practice every day that you're going to, that relaxes all the muscles. So while I am absolutely 150% what Amanda's saying, and all those facial exercises and all the stuff that she's an expert in, and I know some of, and getting to know more through her and others, it's also, we have to learn to the controlling the thoughts and control and having a spiritual practice to go to, because when I'm relaxed, I'm not frowning. If I'm very nervous and anxious all the time, I'm exaggerating, I or anyone. I mean, let's think about it. So it's it's the inner life again will help with all of the exercises. And although sun is very important for us, we know that life would not exist.
Yeah.
We are not supposed to be in it all the time, burning ourselves. So I'm a little between the two worlds of everyone's like, the sun is the best for you, they're lying to you. And then the other camp, the sun is horrible. No, I think it's somewhere in between. I think, of course, you have to be in the sun for vitamin D3 and all the stuff that we know about, certainly through the COVID years. But you don't want to just sit out and be in the sun. You will burn your skin. We're not supposed to just sit out.
Yeah.
Sun shrivels and wrinkles things. So can you get a mineral-based? I think, but Amanda could correct me if it's a mineral-based SPF. There are some SPFs that are okay and non-toxic. There may be a few, but so we have to be. It's the being aware, awareness, acceptance, and action. Am I aware of what's going on at all times within me and outside? Do I accept that it's within me to change it? And what action am I going to take? I'm always talking about in my practice, divine alignment leads to divine action. That's a big one. So then I know to do the buccal though I know to have a spiritual practice. So I know to eat that instead of that. It's not just one thing,
No, it's all it's work too. I get up and I now do positive affirmations I try to for at least a half an hour. And I'm just walking around repeating to myself, I am beautiful. I am positive. I want abundance in my life. And so I'm sure like somebody looking into my place first thing, and we're like, this girl's a quack. It totally works. It totally makes a difference. My days are better when I start them that way than when I don't. Prayer in the morning, all of those things. So I couldn't agree with you more. That has to be your foundation, really.
And would you say, because I think it's a beautiful phrase that you just said, divine alignment leads to divine action. I think some people might be going, what is that? Like, what is divine alignment? Can you unpack that a little?
Yes, thank you for asking. It's a big one that I use in my practice. I want people to know that what that means to me and how I believe that can help everyone, all of us. We're all equal. A Course in Miracles says everyone is special and no one is special. And I love that. I love that so much. It's such a balance. So the divine alignment, the divine life is, I'm not a religious woman. I have such respect for all religions. I'm not a religious person. I'm a spiritual person. But spirituality is at the basis of all religions. I think that's what the brilliance of the great, great religions is the spiritual foundation. And so I am made of, as you two are, and every living being, the same divine force, that Holy Spirit, that Jedi force out of Star Wars, if you will, which I relate to even more than anything else, that creates all life. It's created all of us. Our mom and dad were part of that, but not really. I mean, they were, you know what I mean? There was something happening. And that is divine. It's unexplainable. Humans have to stop wanting to control life. And that's a whole other subject. But to answer your question, divine, we come from the divine. So I have to get into alignment with that divine within me. so that then I'm taking right action. Because if I'm in divine alignment, conscious alignment, aware, awake is what I mean. I'm not just talking to Shay and Amanda right now. There's what is my body temperature? What do I see beyond my screen? Am I hungry? Not that you're thinking about all of this when you're talking in a podcast, but you're aware of yourself. You're conscious that you're alive and you have needs and you're tending to them. You're not ignoring certain needs so that then you might have to take the quick, fast route, food, fillers, everything we've been speaking about. If I can be in divine alignment, I'm slow and steady in life, but it's fluid. I'm making the right action. No, I'm not perfect. I'm going to fail all the time, but failing is the way that we succeed. We have to fall down to get up again and then learn. And from that, as we all know. So I hope that answers it a bit, Shay. Divine alignment is conscious alignment, conscious of myself, really going on, not lying to myself.
Yeah.
So I can take the right action.
Yeah, I even feel different when I feel aligned. Like I can tell in a day, things just flow better. I feel it, like it's a power inside me that I feel. And you can kind of see the difference between the two when you're not. You feel that? Like you can feel it.
Oh, 100%. I mean, I think we've all had those days where you just know, even when you have like a full schedule, like there are days where you have a full schedule and nothing is going right. There's this domino effect, right? You're like late for something, somebody else cancels, like whatever. There's like those days. And then there's the exact same fullness in a schedule and everything just flows. Like the door opens at the right time, you get the green light, like it flows. And those are moments you're conscious to, you know, bring up that word when you are really paying attention, might be a more lame term for some people, when you're really paying attention to what you're doing in that day versus maybe what you were doing in the other day, the people you're seeing, the food you're eating, the meetings you're taking, right? How it just, it works itself together, and you go through that day and you're like, I'm doing exactly what I need to be doing. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. And I'm excited about that. You know, there's this there, and Amanda, you brought it up earlier about, you know, when you wake up and you have a project you're working on and just like that excitement, right? Like you're starting your day not with dread, you know, you're starting your day with like complete intention, knowing what you want to be accomplishing. And that's the difference.
Yeah. I say being in flow, which is exactly what you just said. Well, and too, you know, I noticed like during quarantine and so forth, I mean, there were some really, really tough days, as there have been for the last 4 years for me. And, you know, it was my followers, that is what got me up in the morning, because I knew that they were kind of like, I felt like counting on me to, you know, like post something to keep their spirits up, and then they keep mine up. I said that to somebody not too long ago. I'm like, it's so funny with Instagram. Like I have met more wonderful people that I hope are friends for life. And I have even met most of them, right? Like we've never met. And I haven't met a lot of, but I adore them. And my friend guy looked at me weird, like, are you like, you need better friends? I go, oh, no. These people are amazing and so loyal. I have such a great, what's the word I'm looking for? My engagement is very high because we're all in alignment with, you know, I can post about something, like I posted about Burning Man the other day. And I just, you know, post what I feel. I don't know if it's always like the popular thing to say. I sometimes don't have a filter, but I love it because I just post what I say, and I just want to know if that resonates with anyone. And I'm always surprised by how many people do resonate with it, which just makes me feel more connected to the collective. Yeah. And it's just such a great feeling, because that's what we all want right now. We all need to know that we're all connected.
Yes, community is so key for getting, you know, right? No man is an island. We need each other. And what we were saying also before, Shay, and we've all been kind of, you know, the foods you eat, the thoughts you have. I mean, that is powerful. Being aware of these thoughts you have. That's also falling into the awareness of what the divine alignment means. Being conscious is being aware and accepting what is right now, and that you're maybe convoluting it with these stinking thinking thoughts,
100%. 100%. Okay, so like, ladies, obviously we could chat we could have our own like talk show. I feel like we could just like keep going. Joe Rogan's figure too. And I want to ask you before we wrap up. You guys have an exciting event happening in California. So if you're on the West Coast, pay attention. And if you're not, and you know people on the West Coast, make sure you send them this episode. September 23rd, tell us what you ladies are up to.
So we are speaking, Amanda and I are speaking in Brentwood via Dr. Danica Thornberry and her wonderful Well People Healing. The title is Well Girls with a Z, Teen Girl Wellness. And we're so excited to be helping inform young people specifically. I do hope that some mothers will stay and not just drop off their girls, but to help young people understand that there are options to wellness outside of a quick pill, a quick fix. If the quick fix is taking a drug always for everything first, sticking a syringe into yourself, the thoughts and how you see yourself, to inform them of the big picture of staying well and growing older and with grace and acceptance. And yes, you can stay youthful, as Amanda and I are examples of, way past 25, 30. I mean, it's like, we all think when we're 14 that when I'm 21, life is over. Or no, they probably think 29 is over. I can't remember. Exactly. It's so to help, Shay, we're the voices out there to help push against the onslaught of the lies of AI and the lies of marketing of fast food and fast drugs and fast pharma and fast toxic quick fixes.
I love it. I love this event. It's why I wanted to bring it up. I think it's so important. We're going to put in the show notes all of the details so you can go online and take a look. And if you are in the California area in Brentwood on the 23rd, make sure you find yourself there. Lastly, ladies, I want to ask you, when you think, because you're on the Freedom CEO podcast, so I always love ending with this question. When you think about being the CEO of your life, not necessarily the CEO in your business, but the CEO of your life, how has taking ownership over your decisions brought you freedom? Amanda, do you want to start?
Okay, I'll start. Well, like I just said, I've kind of branched out on my own now. And it wasn't easy. I had helped to build an amazing branch of plastic surgery business in explanting women, with that as the main focus. I thought it was really important to have an emphasis on holistic health. I've been trying to mesh the two worlds since 2012. And I have to look back now and realize that the world wasn't ready for that back in 2012. But I think it's ready now, and you're going to see, I hope, more integrative plastic surgery practices. And, my ego wanted to stay in the industry because I had built and been part of something really special. But God kept nudging me, go out on your own. I'm like, oh, nobody cares about me enough to go out on my own. And finally, I'm like, if I don't go out on my own now, and I also I went right from 7.5 years of chronic illness to then COVID and all of this for the last 4 years. I also need to now start really making my pizza pie focused on, love and my family and not just work like I have for so many years. But I do feel like we have the opportunity, all of us now, to speak out, to rise, to come together. And so I really do feel like that has to be done. It's me on that one. And then, but collaborating with really amazing people. So I believe everything's a collaboration. So whether it's Claudia now, with our natural beauty, or Camille, my partner in Lymph Lounge, The breast bomb I'm doing on my own. But I love this, that we're all coming together. I'm a creator, so I love creating, and I don't have all the answers. So I feel like, kind of like taking my business back into my own hands and deciding how I want to do it. I'm not sitting here making money for everybody else anymore. I'm going to focus on it for me now.
Yes.
Ooh,
I love it. Yes.
that's so.
And I can't wait to watch it. I can't wait to watch it grow and evolve. I'm very excited for you.
You guys are all so supportive and amazing. This is what I'm saying. I love my Instagram community. I couldn't do it without you guys. I love it.
Yeah. Claudia, what about you?
Amen to everything Amanda said. That was just so full and powerful. And I agree with everything. I think when you said how does taking ownership of your life bring you freedom? I think, again, the idea of, as I was saying before, and we know you can't change anyone else, you can change yourself. So I can control a situation as much as I can realize that if I have to change, then I'm in the driver's seat of that. Right. And then that gives me freedom instead of waiting for him and her to do something personal, business, whatever. Why is this not happening? Why is this not working? Well, what can I do differently? How can I see the situation differently? How can I switch my perception and be empowered and make right change out of that, again, divine alignment, divine action that then sets me up in flow? And that's freedom.
Yeah, it is. Big time. I love it. I love it. Ladies, thank you so much for joining today and being on the Freedom CEO podcast. Just in kind of final closing, if you are watching, of course, you've seen social handles come across the screen. If you are listening, in the show notes, so make sure to click on that. And is there anywhere for people to connect with you two? Do you have a new website that you guys are working on together, or is just reaching out on your socials the best spot to connect?
For now, the Holistic Beauty Coach on Instagram. I am going to start building my YouTube, but I haven't done that yet. And Lymph Lounge. Sign up, because as soon as we're live, we're going to let everybody know. It's going to be really exciting, probably this fall.
Awesome.
Yeah, my site.
What's the best way to connect with you? No, go ahead, Claudia.
So my site, claudiamason.com, is chock full of info. Instagram handle, Claudia Mason, at Claudia Mason 1, the number 1. And that's really the best way.
Awesome. Well, ladies, again, thank you for coming on today. And I have a feeling we'll be back on the podcast at some point as well. So thank you.
We can't wait. Thank you, Shay. As always, it was great.
Thanks for tuning into the Freedom CEO podcast. If you got value out of today's show, I would love for you to leave a review, as it will help my show reach other people as well. You know what to do. Download this episode, click the like and subscribe button. If you feel like spreading more love, hop over to Instagram and share today's show in your stories. Remember to tag Shane Vidiata and the Freedom CEO. My DMs are always open, so drop me a line. I'd love to connect. Until next time, keep owning your decisions to live a life of freedom. Live a life you love.